Welcome to Hyogo Prefecture in Japan and the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium. It's the AFC Champions League Elite, the round of 16, as Vissel Kobe of Japan host FC Seoul of the Republic of Korea. In the first leg a week ago, it was a victory for Vissel on the road by 1-0. The Brazilian centre-back Matheus Tuller scored early on in the contest. He also saved a crucial ball from crossing the line near the end. FC Seoul might have equalised. Leonardo Ruiz missed a penalty kick in the 66th minute. It was a tight match. Today may also be a tight match, but there's no doubt that the home team are the favourites after their splendid performance in not just the first leg, but also the league stage where they beat FC Seoul 2-0 in this very arena. On that occasion, Yoshinori Muto and Gotoku Sakai scored. Yoshinori Muto starts today. It is an unchanged team for the hosts. No great surprise there. A few changes made by the FC Seoul head coach Kim Gi-dong.
Okay.
Neither team has played a match domestically since this fixture a week ago. They've had time to prepare, time to get ready for the challenge, and time to contemplate life in the quarter-final stage of the AFC Champions League Elite. No away goals, so if this tie is level on aggregate at full time, we will go to an additional period of 30 minutes and, if necessary, a penalty competition. They will hope that is not necessary. The fans of Vissel Kobe, the club known as the Cows in this world-famous city of beef, and they will be hoping to dine out on the success of their club, the FC Seoul supporters who've made the journey from the beautiful capital city of the Republic of Korea. The 11th time that FC Seoul have taken part in the AFC Champions League in all of its incarnations, twice runners-up. 4th time for Vissel Kobe. They were semi-finalists in the 2020 edition. What success they've had since then. Back-to-back J-League titles, Emperor's Cup winners. It really has been an extraordinary spell for Vissel Kobe. The one that they really want now, the one that everyone wants, is the AFC Champions League Elite. The finest club competition in this fine continent, this huge and diverse continent. And in the very far east, our attention now turns to Vissel Kobe and FC Seoul, in the nation whose name literally means the origin of the sun, the land where the sun rises.
Vissel Kobe from Japan and FC Seoul from Korea.
It is time. There's nothing like it. The AFC Champions League Elite, the flagship club competition in Asia, and the wonderful setting of the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium as Vissel Kobe of Japan host FC Seoul of the Republic of Korea. It's the round of 16, the second leg, a 1-0 win for the home team, Vissel Kobe, in last week's fixture. But this is far from over. There is hope for the team from the beautiful capital city of the Republic of Korea. Let us see if Vissel Kobe can hold on to their narrow advantage, or even better it. Will FC Seoul spark a comeback? In this world-famous city of beef, one of the greatest delicacies in the world. Let's see who will be able to look back on their performance and say that it was well done. Vissel Kobe and FC Seoul meeting in the AFC Champions League Elite. The captains Tetsushi Yamakawa and Kim Jin-soo lead their teammates down the line. The quarter-final beckons. It's an unchanged Vissel Kobe team from Michael Scuba. Diana Maikawa keeps goal, and centre-back Matheus Tuller wears number 3. He was the star man in the first leg, scoring and clearing a ball off the line. Teenage midfielder Kento Kawasaki wears number 52. He looks a very exciting prospect, though he was relieved when a penalty kick that he conceded in the first leg didn't lead to the equalising goal. In the first leg, just 3 substitutions were made, with number 10, veteran forward Yuya Osako, returning from injury and making an effective contribution. Alireza Fagani takes charge of this match. Sean Evans looks after the video review system. Kim Gi-dong has made 3 changes from the starting lineup a week ago, starting with bringing number 40 Park Song-hoon into the FC Seoul defence. He came on at half-time in the first leg. In the midfield, number 7 Jong Sung-won starts, having been an unused substitute last time. And watch for number 43, 18-year-old Son Jong-bom in the heart of midfield. He's a new member of the first team, but looks really promising. In the first leg, number 17, Leonardo Ruiz, had an eventful time when he came on as a substitute, including missing a penalty kick that would have levelled the tie.
In memory of 15 years since the Great East Japan earthquake, 2011.
今日で15年を迎えた東日本大震災で犠牲になられた皆様へ哀悼の意を表して黙祷を捧げます。皆様ご起立ご脱帽の上ご協力をお願いいたします。黙祷。
A moment of pause, a moment of reflection. A city that has been through a lot. Kick-off is upon us. 90 minutes away from the quarter-final stage of the AFC Champions League Elite. Vissel Kobe holding a narrow advantage. And they had a slightly more compelling advantage in the league stage in February, where they won 2-0 against today's opponents. So, 3 goals, none conceded in 2 meetings with FC Seoul. The very warmest of welcomes to you indeed. The setting is the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium. The Japanese island of Honshu hosting this meeting between Vissel Kobe and FC Seoul in the AFC Champions League Elite round of 16. It's the second leg. FC Seoul in the lighter kit, but Vissel Kobe with the lighter mood after the early advantage that came from Matthias Tuller's 23rd minute header a week ago. And a case of what might have been really for FC Seoul after they had a fair few chances in front of their own fans at the Seoul World Cup Stadium, including a penalty kick from substitute Leonardo Acevedo Ruiz that was saved by Daya Maikawa. No away goals, so if the tie is level in any combination of scores, irrespective of who's got more at home, who's got more away, then it will go to extra time and, if necessary, a penalty competition. This is tricky early on, but just about okay there, FC Seoul. Here is Daiju Sasaki. Matthias Tuller was quite advanced early on in that match, or in this match. He was very successful in the previous match. Michael Skiba, the head coach of Vissel Kobe, took over from Takayuki Yoshida in January. Very successful spell in charge of Sanfrecce Hiroshima before this. Kim Gi-dong, 6 years younger at 54 than Mr. Skiba, Champions League winner as a player, and somebody who made over 400 appearances for 2 clubs in the Republic of Korea as a midfielder. And he's put a very young midfielder into this starting lineup today, having made 3 changes from the first leg. And that youngster is number 43, Son Jong-bom. On the subject of young midfielders, there is Kento Hamasaki. Definitely caught. He's the young lad who committed the handball that led to the penalty kick in the first leg that was saved by Leonardo Ruiz, or that was missed by Leonardo Ruiz, saved by Daya Maikawa. Goal scorer from the first leg was Matthias Tuller. He's at the back with the captain Tetsushi Yamakawa, as the other captain Kim Jin-soo is down. Gu Sung-yeon, 31-year-old, keeps goal for FC Seoul. Recent arrival, but in the same city as last season. He was playing for Seoul Eland. Mostly has actually spent his career playing in Japan, so this is something of a home away from home for him. Gu Sung-yeon spent most of his time up in the north of the country, beautiful island of Hokkaido. Quite a different sort of climate actually from what one experiences in and around the city of Kobe, which gets very humid during the summer. Much less so up in the north, which is famous for its really cold winters. Hence why the Sapporo Dome, like this stadium, has a retractable roof. Tetsushi Yamakawa, the captain, managed to find Katsuya Nagato. Nagato's ball, touched by number 96, Juan Antonio Ros. Ros gets it away. Ros, the Spaniard who was just recently joined FC Seoul. Gorky. Sasaki trying to get there, but that's well defended. And just to evade Son Jung-bum, the 18-year-old who's come up through the youth team, showed real composure in his debut, which he made in the league in the only match that FC Seoul have played domestically this season. Japanese football, as I'm sure many of you know, is in something of a transitional period in the calendar because they're moving to the late summer through to spring system. It's always been February through to November, December time. But at the moment there is a temporary J1 100-year Vision League, which Vissel Kobe are contesting. Just a shorter one-off tournament to tide fans over until the new season. So that means that his team has played more matches in 2026 than FC Seoul, and that certainly was a factor in the league stage when Vissel won 2-0. It looked a much more even sort of game a week ago, because in that first match FC Seoul were struggling really with the impact of 5 new signings who obviously hadn't had any time to blend. They haven't had much more time, certainly not many more matches, but they've had more time in training. Captain Kim Jin-soo, 5 times winner of the top flight in the Republic of Korea with Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors, one of the great clubs of that country. Up in the air from Sasaki, gets a second touch, but there's an opportunity here for the physical midfielder Rovoye Babets, who is a recent signing. Jung Sung-won. Back to Daya Maekawa. Tried to put a little pressure on him, the teenager Son Jung-bum. Here is Katsuya Nagato, one of 3 Vissel Kobe players who was shown a yellow card in the first match. There were 2 for FC Seoul. Song Min-kyu, where's number 34 for FC Seoul? If you watched, oh goodness, that was a little bit on the short side, nearly a chance for Rikuto Hirose to steal that ball, but as I was about to say, if you watch the first match, you will have seen the danger posed by number 34, Song Min-kyu. No danger from that hit. But Song Min-kyu was problematic for Vissel Kobe down the wing. Babets. As a player down, it's Choi Jun getting back to his feet now, though. Seemed to take a blow to the face. Here's Patrick Klimala. Wasn't a bad idea, but quite an easy intervention. Didn't really manage to create a big presence for himself in the first match, the Polish forward. A couple of FC Seoul players down, one of whom is Park Sung-hoon. Oh, that's why he and Choi Jun just went straight into each other. Choi Jun didn't get that right. Normally is a good distributor of the ball, also good at getting forward from full-back. Vissel Kobe didn't give him many chances to do it in the first match. Chase is on here, unexpectedly as well, for Klimala. And play will be pulled back anyway. He knows it's going to be a very tough 90 minutes. He'll be wanting to see more proactivity from Patrick Klimala. Choi Jun deals with a slightly tricky bouncing ball. Nagato, Sasaki, he had an excellent chance in the first match that was beautifully saved by Gu Sun-yeon. Back to the captain, Yamakawa. Played 38 times last season in the league, the most of his career. Great ball, great opportunity, and it's wide. It's offside anyway. Not the first time that Ren Komatsu has made a dangerous run. He's been caught offside a couple of times. Oh, it was close. Looked as though he timed that very nicely. Good effort from Kim Jin-soo to put off his shot. But yes, he's one to watch, Ren Komatsu. Very interesting record that he's had. Very strong player in the lower leagues. Now, with his big J1 chance and his big Champions League elite chance. He was the top scorer in the Japanese third tier, J3, in 2023. He's not afraid to impose himself, is he, the 18-year-old Son Jong-bom? His older brother, Sungbum, just recently left FC Seoul. Rikuto Hirose, the number 23, will send this one in. Tricky delivery, had to be dealt with, and it was. The flag has been raised in any case. And there is the player from Saitama, in and around the Tokyo area, and a famous footballing hotbed in Japan. It is again Komatsu. And there is a fairly decent chance in that kind of position to deliver something more purposeful for Daiju Sasaki. Stole it well. Just way too much on that ball. Foul given anyway for Sasaki's challenge, to his astonishment. If you're just joining the contest, not a great deal has happened early on. That is probably to be expected, such is the tension of this tie and how closely matched they are. This is the round of 16 in the AFC Champions League Elite. Second leg after Vissel Kobe won 1-0 in the Republic of Korea's capital city a week ago. Found that a rather painful moment, didn't he? Poor old Patrick Klimala. Komatsu is dispossessed. They're going to have to be all over him, the FC Seoul defence and those in those fortifying midfield roles, because he's going to operate quite effectively and freely if they don't stop him. Chance to play this out to the left, and it wasn't taken by Song Min-kyu. Choi Young-wook had a little bit of space, wanted that ball. Signs that this match could really flit in either direction early on. They've both had decent positions without hugely clear chances. What an effort that was from Jong Sung-won to win the ball back. Is this the big chance now? It's going to be put in by Klimala. FC Seoul have levelled the tie, and all of that came from the industry of Jong Sung-won, who didn't feature in the first leg. He fought to get a ball that seemed to be a lost cause. What an effort, and a really well-controlled challenge too. And that was a sublime piece of decision-making to put that into the path of Klimala. because he realised, Song Min-kyu, that there was no direct path to goal, just looped it over Daya Maekawa, and that was unmissable. That's what they came to see. Well, what were we saying about how Patrick Klimala needed to create more of a presence for himself in this match compared to the first leg? That's the display of a man who's come out with a point to prove. He's chasing this one down. He's looked utterly transformed compared to how he was in the first half of the previous match. And it's fascinating the way that football changes, the way that all sport can change, because the undisputed Vissel Kobe hero of the first leg was Matthias Tuller, who has now just been given a yellow card, having had the ball stolen from him by Jong Seung-won, leading to the equalising goal. And it was a header that was, from Klimala, as simple as Tuller's own header was in the first leg. We have a contest. Hooked away by Hirose. There's no doubt that this gentleman's presence in the team has changed things. Jong Seung-won. He's only scored 3 times for the club, but it was his tenacity to win that ball back, to provide an opportunity for him, that has been so key. That's cleverly done. This is very good. Cho Young-uk. That's going to be a foul. It's gone the opposite way from what Son Jung-bong was hoping. May have been pulled back earlier. Came through the Osan High School setup, Son Jung-bong, that youth team, feeder team for FC Seoul. Halfway through the first half, and a very finely balanced tie. Komatsu to Yoshinori Muto. Muto manages to hold on to it, looks for the cross, but it's simple for Gu. Here he is again, and he's won a corner kick. Coming over to take the corner, Kim Jin-soo. Joined the club last season from that big spell at Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors, which is why he's making his 40th appearance today in AFC club competition. 7th campaign in all of the various forms of the Champions League. And that is of no test. He's certainly seen an intensity from his players, a determination from his players. Still, Ren Komatsu looks threatening, as though if FC Seoul don't really have their wits about them, then Komatsu will just dart in and do something dangerous. There is Komatsu trying to a little touch on to Yoshinori Muto. Very experienced referee. Very respected too. Hirose, and touch behind, nicely defended by Kim Jin-soo. Tricky one with Komatsu the target. Joined the club from Blaublitz Akita. Just recently scored his first goal in the top flight of Japanese football, albeit the temporary top flight. Two captains jostling, tussling. The ball evading Yosuke Ideguchi, but he does get a second chance. Tricky start. One gets the feeling that this is going to be one of those matches that has a few different chapters to it, especially now that FC Seoul have got that early leveller. All of this taking place in the magnificent stadium that is the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium. Capacity of about 30,000. It hosted a few matches at the World Cup that was jointly staged by these two nations in 2002. Wonderful World Cup that it was. It also hosted Rugby World Cup matches. Not an easy task to find a stadium in a two-legged tie that will live up to the Seoul World Cup stadium. A nice reminder across the two grounds of that first ever jointly hosted Football World Cup. So famous for the extraordinary performances of the Republic of Korea team, getting to the semi-final stage. Japanese also had their most successful World Cup, albeit at that stage it was only their second time actually qualifying, or not, they didn't qualify, but second time playing in the World Cup finals. This could be a dangerous one for Muto. Oh, it almost went in. Got a chance, courtesy of a loose ball. Powerful throw from Nagato. Touch on was Komatsu's. He continues to be a nuisance. And a good save actually from Gu, because he probably had limited visibility because of the presence of his own teammate. Hirose with the corner kick to the far post, touched away by Son Jung-bom, who's got far more physical presence than an 18-year-old tends to have in the midfield. Good decision there as well to play in Cho Young-uk. We're into the latter portion of the first half. Vissel Kobe 0, FC Seoul 1. Patrick Klimala in the 20th minute as Komatsu's shot is easily blocked. The goal scorer, a man from Świdnica in Poland. He was playing in the city of Wrocław for a couple of years before joining the club in June. Did have a loan spell though at FC Sydney. He's also played in Scotland in MLS, various other places. Quite a well-travelled gentleman, still only 27. And he played in the Champions League 2, the companion competition to the Champions League Elite, for Sydney FC last season, scoring 6 times. Choi Jun. Just a little too much on that ball, looking for Song Min-kyu, who's been kept much quieter than he was in the first game. Not that any of that matters when you've finally got your first goal of this season's AFC Champions League Elite against Vissel Kobe after 2 matches where they won 1-0 and 2-0. Tagoke, number 5 for Vissel Kobe, who's only recently returned to the club. Nicely done by young Hamasaki. He's played for the Japanese national team at youth level. Behind it goes for a goal kick. Scored in the 2-2 draw with Sanfrecce, Patrick Klimala, and has got another one here. How contrasting his mood is to how he was feeling a week ago. Matheus Tuller, great chance here. Just played behind Sasaki and he couldn't get a full strike on that ball. That's got to be regarded as a wasted opportunity. From that angle it looks so simple to play him in. Of course the reality is that it was probably a little more complicated. But the moment that ball went behind Sasaki, there had to be something of a positional reset. There was time for the FC Seoul defence to get back. Cross back to his goalkeeper and kept him well by Kim Jin-soo. They're looking a lot more organised than they were in the previous couple of meetings with Vissel Kobe, the visitors. Unsurprisingly. Starting to get a sense of how to bring the best out of these newer players. He's not a new player, Cho Young-wook, a whole career at the club that he loves, in the city that he loves. Hamasaki's ball out to the right. Muto with the attempted cross. He's a hugely respected player by the Vissel Kobe fans. Gorke. Hamasaki, still Hamasaki. Yet to score for the club. Nervous moment there for Choi Jun as his header didn't manage to do much other than put it into the path of Hamasaki, but Babet's made his life a little tricky. Tricky enough, anyway. Maekawa couldn't get that to Nagato, and another example of FC Seoul winning back possession effectively. Jong, cleared by Tuller. Ideguchi to Gorke. Good start though it has been from FC Seoul. There are signs of threat from Vissel Kobe. Goke. Touchdown to Muto. And this will come in and will be dangerous for Goke. Not a million miles away from a clear chance. Just launched by Jong Sung-won and nearly actually managed to pick out Song Min-kyu. Into the last 5 or so minutes, with probably not a vast amount of additional time to be played. Very much from a neutral point of view, exactly what this two-legged tie needed, that early goal from Klimala. Not that the Vissel Kobe fans are remotely interested in an entertaining spectacle. They just want to get to the quarter-final somehow and win the title, win the trophy that's missing from their collection. Babetz hooks it to Song, but it came off the winger. Again, winning it back well. Again, pressurising Vissel Kobe. Just a slightly frantic feel to some of the defensive work from the home team. Here's Jong. It was shepherded away nicely there by Sasaki. In the end, they're forced to go all the way back to Gu. Choi-jun. This match taking place very close to the sea. Song Min-kyu played back to Cho Young-uk, who really didn't look for a moment as though he was going to do anything meaningful with that. Never quite managed to get a good shooting angle. His positioning was excellent, but just awkward move as he was trying to hit it. But as I was saying, this match right by the seaside, it's in the Hyogo ward, which is one of the 9 wards of Kobe, in the far south of the city. And this whole area was actually the capital of Japan for a short period of time in the 12th century. And as I'm sure many of you know, the name of the club, Vissel, is a combination of victory and vessel, another of the many portmanteau club names in Japanese football because of the, well, port city of Kobe. Additional time is about to be upon us. Had to be alert, the fullback Choi-jun. Only 1 minute. No great surprise there. It's flowed pretty smoothly as a first half. Now, he's about to say capable of a dangerous long throw, but decided to go shorter on that occasion, Katsuya Nagato. And here's Gorkei, it's a chance for the captain. Tetsushi Yamakawa just appeared in the middle of nowhere. Nobody spotted him. All that space and a very important block. He's already scored once in this season's Champions League Elite. One last chance perhaps for Vissel Kobe for the equaliser. Goalkeeper gets a connection and it just about did enough. Oh, that was thumped into his own player by Hirose. I think it struck Muto. Slightly frantic end to the first half, and Yoshinori Muto is feeling the effects of taking that shot full force. FC Seoul have levelled the tie courtesy of the 20th minute goal from Patryk Klimala. The Polish player not quite putting Seoul in pole position, but we have parity at half-time. It is Vissel Kobe 0, FC Seoul 1.
タイム。
Time, okay.
Welcome back to the setting of the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium, and some changes are coming. Diego, one of the players coming on, the new fullback who has just joined the club, and Yuya Osako as well making his way on. It looks as though as well that Lee Sung-mo is going to be involved for FC Seoul. Very tough to see which way this is going to go. A tight first leg, a tight first half of the second leg. What impact will the changes make? Very experienced defender, Diego. The second half begins. Vissel Kobe 0, FC Seoul 1. Patrick Klimala in the 20th minute levelling the tie. Vissel Kobe in possession but under pressure from the visitors. There's evidence of it. Song Min-kyu. And straight away an early test for half-time substitute Diego. So we've lost Ren Komatsu and Kento Hamasaki. Yuya Osako and Diego coming on. And the teenager Son Jong-bom has been replaced by Lee Sung-mo. Lee Sung-mo, very experienced midfielder. Is Babets. Well, we've got to have some form of separation. Extra time and penalties if required. They're very pleased to have Yuya Osako back. Michael Skube delighted to be able to bring on a veteran player who has scored 11 times in AFC continental competition. He'd also scored in the UEFA Europa League. Recent spell of injury has restricted his availability, but he's got a busy half to play now, and a really important one. That was kept in by Song Min-kyu. There is Osako. And with ferocity again, FC Seoul trying to get the ball back. That's been a hallmark of their success in the first half. Just a little wild from Osako as he was trying to get that ball under control. And then a little moment just before that as well. Just to briefly jump back to the league stage, Vissel Kobe were second and FC Seoul seventh. FC Seoul really only just made it through. It was a very compact 7th, 8th and 9th with FC Seoul, Gangwon FC and Ulsan HD on 10, 9 and 9 respectively. With Ulsan HD, Champions League specialists, missing out. The Japanese clubs, totally different story. All three of them at the top of the table. Matchda Zelvia, the top team, they've already gone through to the quarter-final stage, having knocked out Gangwon FC yesterday. Sanfrecce Hiroshima, currently in their own quest to get to the last 8. Babets does well to win the ball back. Out from Klimala to the right. Making the run was Choi Jun, who can make very good runs into attacking positions from fullback. Roy Babets again. Born right by the Hungarian border, but on the Croatian side. Here is Choi Jun, and there's one of those runs I was referencing. And that was well covered by Matthias Tuller. Had to take a few attempts to get that off Choi Jun. Meanwhile, on the ground is Jong Sung-won. Yes, there's a fair few not very pleasant moments in that altercation. Awkward bending of the knee, seemed to get trodden on as well. All of that on the concerning side. Oh, goodness, it really does get trodden on by Nagato with no sense of malice to it. But that has hurt, clearly. He has got creative and dangerous options. Plenty of attacking strength on the FC Seoul bench. Cho Young-uk to Kim Jin-soo, who's tempted to shoot, and it's a good save. Read nicely by Daya Maekawa. That was struck impressively by Kim. He has scored a couple of goals in this competition during his Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors days. Excellent shot. And it will be he that takes the corner kick, and the target was number 40 Park Sung-hoon. Jong back on, looking okay. Charged down by Diego. It's going to be a foul, and it's another example of Vissel Kobe not really holding the ball effectively, lacking composure. Diego just plonked it right onto the feet of Kim Jin-soo. Very robust start to the second half from the visiting team. Here's the substitute, Lee Sung-mo. And the cross is challenging and hooked away by Yamakawa. Ross, well forward from centre-back. Babets, it's a good idea. He is posing some problems. The exciting Jong Sung-won, whose involvement in this second leg has helped lead an FC Seoul transformation from the first. We just remind ourselves that it was his tenacity winning the ball back from Matheus Tuller that led to Song Min-kyu's assist for Patrick Klimala's simple-headed goal. Diego had a slightly heavy landing. Cleverly done onto Cho Young-wook. Song Min-kyu provides the support. Instead it goes to Babets. That'll go right out now to Jong. And Maekawa gathers easily. They look threatening though. There is Diego, who has just recently joined the club from a few years at Kashiwara Seoul. His 6th club in Japan since first arriving on loan in 2017. Played for Metropolitano and Joinville in Brazil. He was born in Mato Grosso in the southwest of the country. Song Min-kyu, tempted to run, tries to get past Hirose. Hirose will not have any of it, but he has fouled. He looks amused in a very unamused way. Rikuto Hirose can't quite believe that that decision went against him. Let's have another look. He certainly does reach up with his arm, forearm across the neck of Song Min-kyu. Conference between Jong Sung-won and Kim Jin-soo. The outcome has been reached. Could be a tricky one for the experienced Vissel Kobe goalkeeper. As we get close to the last half an hour, here is Jong Sung-won. comfortably over. As things stand, we are going to go beyond this last half an hour. Again, real effort to win the ball back, to pressurise the Vissel Kobe defence. Here's Cho, and that was close to finding Jong. They've pressurised consistently Song Min-kyu. That's a good link up, almost. Babette's back to Jong. Jong's cross is a good one, clever play. Very nice idea. I had to slightly rethink this because I think the original target was Song Min-kyu, but ended up being a decent ball for Cho. Lee Sung-mo has scored 3 times in continental competition. Into the last half an hour we go. 1-1 on aggregate. Matheus Toulet in the first leg, Patrick Klimala in the second. What next? It looks that FC Seoul are more likely. Here is Klimala, he has got space to shoot, and well done to Hirose for getting back, because there was certainly half a chance. But it's been a while since the Japanese team really looked as though they were the more likely to put the ball in. Gorke. Ideguchi. Yamakawa, who had that very good chance near the end of the first half. And there were FC Seoul opportunities in the first leg. Quite a few of them, including that penalty kick from Leonardo Acevedo Ruiz that was saved by Maekawa. He's done so well to keep that in play. It's another example of chasing a lost cause. It could yield even more success for FC Seoul. Jong, and in it comes from Choi Jun. What a great effort from Song Min-kyu. He's such a hard-working player. Just signed for the club after a 5-year spell at Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors. Over 150 appearances and over 30 goals for them. The club wanted pace and versatility, and they've got it in him. That was a little painful for Diego. Got caught by Choi Jun as he was clearing the ball. Sporting reaction. The man from Ulsan, Choi Jun, born in the far southeast of the country. Started his career at Ulsan HD, but didn't ever play for them in the league. But he was at the Hyundai High School club. Ulsan is very much, we'll come back to that because that's a complete steal out of nowhere. And having to track back was guess who? Song Min-kyu, working hard defensively as well as an attack. A little bit too much hard work there. He's a little cross with himself for giving that away. But this was unexpectedly a chance for Yuyo Osako. Plucked it away from Park Song-hoon. Just as I was about to talk about the industrial heritage of Ulsan and how it's a comparison to the industrial heritage of this particular part of Kobe, there was a fair amount of industry from Osako in winning that ball back. And all of that has led to a Vissel Kobe chance. This would be a goal very much out of nowhere if they can get something here. Nagato. So what does he do? What does he change? Is it a matter of weathering the FC Seoul storm? Because the side from the Republic of Korea seem to be getting better and better in this match. Now this has the potential to be rather complicated for Vissel Kobe. The impressive Jong Seung-won is disappearing, to which the Vissel Kobe fans will think, thank goodness for that. But then on comes Anderson Oliveira, which will not provoke a hugely happy reaction from the Vissel supporters, because this is a very exciting player to be able to bring on. He had moments where he looked extremely threatening in the first match. Not consistently so, but he was dangerous. And wasn't he, Jong Seung-won, his job done, and done very well. But Anderson Oliveira will certainly provide the same sort of aggressive creativity down the wing, maybe even in a slightly more mercurial sense than Jong Seung-won. He's an unpredictable player. Sometimes unpredictability is the thing that really counts in a tight match like this. Babet's gesticulating to Muto to get up. Anderson Oliveira makes the run. Here he goes, the 27-year-old Brazilian. We've got now Kim Jin-soo. Floats it, and it's brilliantly stopped by Maekawa. Oh, what good movement from the goalkeeper. He had to get across goal fast. This is the angle that will really illustrate it. Brilliant save. Cho Young-uk's looping header. That was nearly Cho's first ever goal in continental competition. He scored the winning goal in the Asian Games gold medal match in Hangzhou. Hirose does well, but it'll come straight back to Song Min-kyu, doubling up to get it away from him. Well, they've just about managed it. Osako tried to sneak in ahead of Ross, but the Spaniard was alert. Here is one of two players on the pitch now from Mato Grosso, the other being Diego. AFC Seoul ball. Matheus Tuller, the other Brazilian, is from Rio de Janeiro. That was almost right onto the foot of Song Min-kyu, a little bit too much power perhaps. Nagato was thinking about putting that back to Maekawa, but it was too risky. Cho has it taken away from him. Here's Gorke. 20 minutes plus whatever comes next. And it might be a lot to come next unless FC Seoul can turn this pressure into a goal. And it has been a lot of pressure. But how often in sport do we see teams absorb pressure and then produce a devastating parry riposte? Hirose, it's a little bit wild from Song, left himself exposed. Muto, and it comes on the captain, Kim Jin-soo. Babet's playing it safe. Hirose's throw. Yamakawa. Matheus Tuller. Sasaki, he was offside. Well, if you had to make your prediction, whoever you're supporting and whether you did or didn't see the first leg, what would you say right now? Which way do you reckon it's going to go? Either way, wonderful to have your company. Hope you're enjoying this AFC Champions League elite meeting between Vissel Kobe and FC Seoul at the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium. Osako out to Muto. He's got a little space to work with here, going up against Kim Jin-soo, trying to cut inside. Kim was with him the whole way. Yamakawa, space for Hirose, suddenly space, suddenly a chance! Oh my goodness! From Osako, back off the post and into the arms of Gu. Meanwhile, Kim Jin-soo down. Goodness. Great ball from Hirose. Great header. I mean, really, talk about fortune. It just comes straight back into his hands. Could so easily have struck Gu and gone in. That's almost farcical. And that would have absolutely been that counter-punch that I was referencing. Maybe it will enliven the team. They suddenly look better over the last few minutes. Osako! Was that a use of a hand? It's going to be hit from the edge of the area and blocked. Muto, chance, but he can't get a shooting angle, and that's so well defended. They are quite convinced, the Vissel Kobe players, that there was a handball. Sean Evans is in charge of the video review process, and it is being scrutinised. Alireza Fagani communicates that to the players. Let's have a look again. Certainly the ball strikes an arm. I think it's Park Song-hoon here. Comes off his hand, there's no doubt about it, as he's in a grounded position, semi-grounded position. And there will be no further action taken. Anderson Oliveira was out-jumped. Vissel Kobe suddenly looked a lot more lively. Sasaki fights hard to win it back. It's a corner kick. Now it's the turn of Vissel Kobe to be tenacious. What a finish to this match. Last 15 minutes of normal time. Extra time as things stand. But I don't know. Feels, doesn't it, like something's going to happen. Headed clear by Song. Suddenly there is a great deal more optimism and indeed noise in the Kobe City Misaki Park Stadium. The long throw is coming, and it's attacked superbly by Choi Jun. Great little touch on, just evaded Diego, but Yuya Osako has had a transformative effect to the Vissel Kobe attack since coming on. They're so fortunate to have him back from injury at this time, to be involved in these two ties, these two matches. Osako. That's real effort to keep it in play from Hirose. Muto, super ball, super ball, super goal. We've had 2 goals in this match that have come from players chasing lost causes. One all. Vissel Kobe lead on aggregate. Substitute Yuya Osako with a wonderful finish. Everything about that goal is a football fan's dream. This effort from the fullback, this quality of cross, and that quality of finish. the sort of determination that fans want to see from their team. That is brilliant. Every input from those three players was perfection. '78th minute goal from Yuya Osako. And it is now advantage Vissel Kobe on aggregate. When he played last week, he hadn't appeared since the opening day of the season due to injury. Back at just the right time for him. Not for FC Seoul. Well, I did dare to suggest a few minutes before that goal that it looked as though something was going to happen. There was just too much in terms of chance creation from both of these teams for it to remain 1-0 until the end of normal time. And if this is the first time that you've been able to enjoy the AFC Champions League Elite, let it be the start of a beautiful relationship, because you will love this competition. Now a change is coming. And this is an exciting player to be brought on. Cho Young-uk has really given his best. But now we see Moon Sung-min from the city of Seoul. He is creative, he's very attack-minded. And there's every prospect that he could get a crucial goal, because he scored already 11 times in AFC competitions at club level. Has scored for the national team on 2 occasions as well. Sasaki. There are plenty of quality, creative players on the pitch. Plenty who are able to make a difference. They just need the time and the space and the opportunity. Will they get it? This is a great effort from Vissel Kobe. Here's Diego, good block. In the last 10-15 minutes, Vissel Kobe have started to do all of the things that FC Seoul were doing brilliantly for the majority of the game, pressurising the opposition when they're in possession, particularly when they've got the ball in their own defence. The Brazilian Diego, who's come on, has joined the club from the best spell of his career. Played almost 100 times for Kashiwa Seoul, scoring about 1 in every 10. Moon. They'll do well to keep him under control. Another who had a long spell and a successful one at Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors. Anderson Oliveira. That is just a little too much for Kim Jin-soo. Well, here he is, Moon, and he just put too much on that pass for Anderson Oliveira. That was more than a glimpse of a chance, that was a clear chance. Ball given away by FC Seoul. Thumped by Dae Maekao. All that does is just give it right back to the team from the Republic of Korea. Five minutes remaining. Get your best hat, put it on, and then hold on to it, because it's going to be an intriguing finish. Hirose's throw. Diego. Oh, it's problematic, very problematic for the FC Seoul defence. Ross. Here is Kim Jin-soo. Moon. Koke wins it back and wins it well. Here's Osako, the man who's made the difference so far. He's been clipped by Moon. He's played so many games in the AFC Champions League. They both have, Moon and Osako. Nearly 70 appearances, divided pretty equally between them. Diego. And that was a test for Gu, had to come quite some distance to punch clear, which he did well. Great effort from Hirose again, and still Hirose behind off Kim Jin-soo. So much determination from Rikuto Hirose. They just were not getting that ball from him. But it was the earlier determination that really made the difference. Nagato. Headed clear by Park. Anderson Oliveira. Vissel Kobe are playing like the team chasing the game. Not in a frantic way, just in a very intense way. They're not sitting back, they're not just thumping the ball downfield. Ideguchi! It it's over. Vissel Kobe are going to the quarter-final stage. Yosuke Ideguchi makes it 3-1 on aggregate, and the turnaround is complete. Just the second goal that he scored in 31 appearances in the Champions League. How calmly done. And how unfortunate that such an error led to such a devastating outcome. That, nonetheless, is a lovely finish. Well, it is of no comfort whatsoever to FC Seoul that this has been such fabulous entertainment. And it has been a wonderful game, but it's a devastating outcome for FC Seoul, who were really controlling the game in the second half. And there were a couple of superb saves by Daya Maekawa. One from Kim Jin-soo, one from Cho Young-wook. That's a foul on Sasaki. 6 additional minutes. Surely that is not enough time. You feel for them. FC Seoul have made such an effort. They've played with genuine heart, genuine creativity. You just feel, looking across the two matches, that there were all of these mini forks in the road, and each one of them seemed to go Vissel Kobe's way. That penalty kick, for example, in the first match. They may have wondered, FC Seoul, if it was going to be their day when Osako's header came back off the post straight into the arms of Gu. Goalkeeper's got to be alert, he does well. Lee Sung-mo was looking to sneak in. Such a dedicated and determined goalkeeper. Daya Maekawa loves the club. Said after the birth of his third child last year that he would dedicate himself with all his body and soul to protect both his family and Vissel Kobe, which one might say is by extension his family, because it's been such a part of his life for so long. Still they chase. FC Seoul with Son to Moon. Moon, great block. Kim Jin-soo out to Moon. This is a good little spell. Can they get one here? Well covered by Yamakawa. Will the goalkeeper come forward? Anderson Oliveira. It's comfortably cleared. Three minutes, and it just isn't quite happening. The two-time runners-up look as though, unfortunately, they are going to be second best today. It has, as a contest, been such a super advertisement for this competition. Sasaki, it's a very fine ball. Diego sprinting forwards. Nicely played to Muto. Osako. Yeah, that's calm and collected. Hirose to Diego. He's going to get a chance. And Diego goes for the pullback. Hirose. Muto trying to get there. Anderson Oliveira managing it, but it's Hirose. And once again, it looks as though it's Vissel Kobe chasing this match. About a minute and a half left. Really, Yosuke Ideguchi's goal really seemed to determine this one. A few of the Vissel Kobe fans thought that was about to be the whistle. There's going to be quite a roar at full time. Kim Jin-soo couldn't find anyone. There's now a big sprint from Ideguchi, forces Anderson Oliveira to go back. Gu, who rather handed Vissel Kobe that chance to make it 2-1, 3-1 on aggregate. But the tie hasn't been determined by one single moment. It's been a very entertaining sequence of two matches over the course of a week where much might have been different, but where Vissel Kobe have been the stronger team. It is Vissel Kobe who progressed to the quarter-final stage of the AFC Champions League Elite. Patrick Klimala's early goal had levelled the tie on aggregate, and then the industry of Rikuto Hirose saw Yoshinori Muto find Yuya Osako for the goal that put Vissel Kobe ahead on aggregate, and then Yosuke Ideguchi in the last minute of normal time secured the win. Fabulous effort from FC Seoul. They so nearly took the lead early on in the second half. Some great goalkeeping from Daya Maekawa kept Vissel Kobe competitive, and they struck when they had their chances. Delight for Daiju Sasaki, delight for the Vissel Kobe spectators, and disappointment for a determined FC Seoul. At full time, it finishes Vissel Kobe 2, FC Seoul 1 on aggregate, a 3-1 win for the Japanese team.